Hello, this is Dr. Shashidhar from Bennett University, Greater Noida, UP. So in this video tutorial, I'm going to explain about Solidity programming. We know Solidity programming can be used to write the Ethereum smart contracts. In my previous sessions, I have explained what is the structure of Solidity programming and what are the data types and scope of variables and functions we have discussed in the last session. So in this tutorial, let me discuss what are the conditional control statements will be available in Solidity programming. So we know about the execution type, like we have a sequential execution in the programming as well as conditional execution. So like based on the condition, a set of statement will be executed and some uh, statements will be skipped in the conditional control statements. So we have a control statement like if else, switch, nested if. Yeah, here is the solidity if statement. You can see the syntax. So this is also similar to other programming languages like C and C++. So the syntax of solidity programming, here if statement we are going to use if, which checks the condition. Okay, so if the condition is true, then the control will enters into the body. This is about if statement in the solidity. Okay, so here we have if else statement. So the if else statement of the solidity is also similar to the other programming languages, like we are checking the condition. Okay, so check the condition. If the condition is true, the first block will be executed, first statement will be executed, otherwise else part will be executed. So if else statement is a two-way branching. Here is the syntax in order to use if else if statement. If there may be a number of alternatives, more than one alternative or more than one conditions at the time, which control statement we need to use. So we can go for if else if statement. Here is the syntax for if else if statement in the solidity. So first it checks the condition. If the condition is true, statement 1 will be executed. Otherwise, it checks for the second expression, that is expression 2. If the expression 2 is true, then the statement will be executed. Second statement, otherwise, else if third expression will be evaluated like that. So finally, the else block will be evaluated. So that is if else if statement in Solidity. Solidity also supports for looping or repetitive statements. So what is meant by looping? A set of statements will be executed repeatedly until some condition has to be satisfied. So we have a different types of loops in Solidity, like we have while loop. While loop is a preconditioned loop. So we are checking the condition at the entry. Okay, so entry condition loop this is. If the condition is true, then the control will enters into the body. Okay. Uh, Next, you can see that Solidity do while loop. Okay, so how to use the do while loop? Okay, so here we have a keyword do. Okay, so we are trying to execute a statement. At least once you have to execute the body of the statement. Okay, so do, then execute this statement at least one, then you check the condition. Okay, so the while is placed at the end of the line, like while, then evaluating the expression. Okay, so execute the statement once and evaluate the expression at last, that is do while loop. And Solidity also supports for loop. Okay, here is the syntax for loop. For, so within the for loop, we need to initialize the variable. After that, we need to test the condition. If the condition is true, a statement will be executed. Based on that, the iteration will be updated. That is iteration statement. So this is Solidity for loop, and we will discuss the concept of functions in Solidity. So here you can see the syntax, the basic syntax. Why we need a functions? In order to perform a certain task, in order to perform some operation, we can write the functions. So there may be a number of benefits whenever we are using the functions in the programming. Yes, so for that, Solidity also supports the function. Okay, so in order to define the function, we need a keyword. Okay, so function is a keyword in order to define the functions. Then function name. This is the user defined name of the function. So within the parenthesis, the parameter list, or we can say that argument list. Then here we have to specify the scope, whether it's a public, private, or internal, like that. Okay, then function will return some data. So that is return keywords will be required. So here is the syntax of function. Okay, so like function definition. So within the function, we can define the local variables, a set of statement and local variable we can define within the function. This is the function definition. Now we can see a simple program. Okay, so in order to illustrate the functions in Solidity programming, so we have a first line pragma statement, so which instruct the Solidity compiler, like which version of the compiler we are going to use, which yes, that is 0.5.0. After that, we are defining a contract. The name of the contract is test. So within the contract, we are defining a function. The function name is get result. Okay, so the access specifier is public. Then the function type is view function, so which returns unsigned integer. So within the function we have a local variables, that is a, which belongs to the unsigned integer. A is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. Then a result variable, so which computes the sum a plus b, and we are trying to write the result back to the function. So like this we can define the functions in Solidity programming. In Solidity, we can use the return keyword or return statement in order to write the results back to the function. So here there is a contract in order to illustrate the return statement, right? So here we have a contract. The name of the contract is test. Okay, so here we have a function. The function name is get result. Okay, then here public view returns. So this function will returns uh, two things. One is product and sum. Okay, so here we are performing the operation here. We are defining the variables a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. Then we are performing the product of two numbers, that is a star b. Okay, the result will be stored in product variable. Similarly, a plus b, we are performing the sum and the result will be stored in sum, so which returns uh, product as well as sum. Then we have the types of functions. So we have declared the function as a view function and the function as a pure function. There are two types of functions in Solidity, so this you need to understand. So when we will use view function and when we can use pure function. So this is with respect to the state variables. State variables is nothing but the variables which are defined in the contract scope. Like after the contract name we are defining some variables, so these are not local variables. Local variables is different and state variables is different. The state variables can be stored in the contract space. Okay, so with respect to that we are defining the view function and pure function. So what is meant by view function? So view functions ensures that they will not modify the state variables. Okay, so whenever we are defined a function as a view, so we cannot modify the state variables within that function. Okay, so that is view function. Then what is pure function? So with respect to the state variables, okay, so which ensures that they not read as well as modify the state. Whenever you are using the state variables in the defined function, so we cannot read also and we cannot modify also. So at that time we can use pure function. Okay, so then next concept we have arrays. Solidity arrays. So we know the definition. What is mean by array? So array is a similar collection of data types. So we can group a set of elements that belongs to a same data type, that is called array. How we have to use the arrays in Solidity? Okay, so let me define array. Array is a data structure which stores a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same type, same data type. Okay, all array consists of contiguous memory locations. The lowest address corresponds to the first element and the highest address to the last element. In Solidity, the array can be of compile time or dynamic time. So Solidity supports for compile time arrays as well as dynamic type arrays. Okay, so here is the syntax. Okay, so the first concept is declaring the arrays in Solidity. You can see the syntax. So we have a type, that is which data type we are going to use, then a name of the array and size of the array. Here we have an example. We are defining a data type like unsigned integer. The array name is balance. The size of the array is 10. To declare an array of dynamic size in Solidity, here the programmer has to specify the elements, how many elements explicitly. So you can see that in order to define the dynamic arrays, so we have to specify the type, data type, after that subscript, then array name. So this is the syntax in order to define the dynamic arrays. Okay, so now how to initialize the arrays? So the arrays can be initialized in many ways, right? So you can see the first way, like we have defined the data type. The balance is a variable, array name. Okay, so that belongs to the unsigned integer. The size of the array is 3, so which holds 3 elements, and we have initialized it to 1 comma 2 and 3. Similarly, here the balance array, so we have not specified the size of the array. Like we can define the elements like 1 2 3, we have initialized it to the array. Okay, so one more way we have, like the array name is the balance. Okay, so and the size of it, okay, so 2, and we have initialized it with 5. Okay, so the location 2, the array. Okay, so location 2 is initialized to 5. So there may be a different ways in order to initialize the arrays. Okay, so now the concept is how to create dynamic memory arrays in Solidity. So you can see the syntax here. Dynamic memory arrays are created using the new keyword. So we need a new keyword in order to create the dynamic memory arrays. Okay, so here we have a data type unsigned integer. The array name is size. Okay, so we have initialized it to 3. After that, unsigned, the array name is balance. Okay, then subscript, here we have not specified the size of the array, so which is equal to new unsigned int, then we are defining the size. This is the syntax. Then in order to accessing the array elements, okay, here is the syntax. So unsigned int salary is equal to balance. Okay, so like that we can access. Then we have a concept called structures. Okay, so let me discuss how the structures can be used in Solidity programming. So what is meant by this structure? Structure is nothing but which groups different data items together. Okay, so in a structure we can store homogeneous data types or members. Okay, so the different collection of variables can be stored under a struct, that is structure. To define struct, you must use the keyword struct, right? The struct keyword defines a new data type with more than one member. The format, like here we have a syntax. In order to define the structures in Solidity, we need to use struct. Struct is a keyword, then structure name. This is the name of the structure. So within this structure, so there may be a different data types and a different members. Members is nothing but the variables here. Okay, so like type 1 variable 1, type 2 variable 2, type 3 variable 3. So like that, so we can group different data elements together in a structure. Yeah, here we have an example in order to create the structure. So here we have created a structure for book. Struct is a keyword and the structure name is user defined, that is book. Then here we have the data types like string data type, and we are declaring a variable title, and author, that is also string, and book ID, that is unsigned integer. We have defined a structure here. Now how to use the structure in Solidity programming. Okay, you can see this program or the smart contract. Okay, so here we have Progma Solidity. After that, we have defined a contract. The contract name is test. So within this contract, we have defined a structure. Okay, the structure name is book, which consists of 3 members: title, author, and book ID. This entire structure is declared with book. Okay, the structure book is declared with book. Okay, so in this contract, we have two types of functions, like a function set book. Okay, so the access specifier is public. Okay, so then we are trying to set the details to that members like book title and author ID. Okay, so like learn Java will be the book title, and TP is author, and the book ID will be one. We have set using the set function. After that, we have a get book ID. So in this function, we are trying to retrieve the book ID. Okay, so function get book ID public. So the function type is view. Okay, which returns unsigned integer. So here we are trying to access the book ID. Yes, we have one more contract, we have one more concept, like that is Solidity variables. are global variables. We can call it as special variables. Okay, as I said, so here solidity variables are like special variables or global variables, so which are used to obtain the information about the blockchain. So in order to obtain the information about the blockchain, like we can use the special variables like gas limit, which gives the current block gas limit, and the number, which gives the current block number, timestamp variable, which gives the current block's timestamp. Okay, so and sender, which gives the sender of the message, and now, that is the current block timestamp. So you can see that. So if you want to obtain the information about the gas limit, gas price, so the information about the Ethereum blockchain network. So we have a global variables or special variables. This can be used in the contracts, solidity contracts. Now the concept is function overloading. Solidity language supports for function overloading. So what is meant by function overloading? So like C and Java, we have a function overloading here, that is two or more functions having same name but differs in parameters or arguments, that is called overloading, like function overloading. So here is the definition. You have a multiple definitions for the same function name in the same scope. The definition of the function must differ from each other by the types and other number of arguments in the argument list, that is function overloading. So here there is a Solidity smart contract in order to illustrate the overloading, right? So here we have defined the contract name called test, and we are defining a function. The function name is getSum. Okay, so the getSum, it will accept two arguments like unsigned integer a and b, so which returns unsigned integer, and return a plus b within the getSum function. After that we have one more function called getSum. So you can see that, so the name of the function is same, but it will be having, it differs in parameters. So in the first function, getSum function, we have two arguments. Here we have a three arguments, so that is method overloading or function overloading. So here we are trying to write the sum of a plus b plus c. Okay, so here is the function function call sum with two arguments. Okay, so in this function we are trying to pass the values like 1 comma 2 to the function getSum. Okay, so here call sum with two arguments, we are trying to pass the values. Similarly, in the last function you can see call sum with three arguments, so we are trying to pass the values to the getSum, three values, 1 comma 2 comma 3. So the function overloading also possible in Solidity programming. So this contract can be executed in the Remix IDE. So you can go to the online. So just open Remix IDE. You can paste this code. Okay, so in the Solidity, so the Solidity compiler will compile this program, and you can execute this program, and you can check the behavior, how this contract can be deployed, how this contract can be behaved in the blockchain network. Yeah, so we have a concept like Solidity supports mathematical functions. Solidity will be having some default function, that is mathematical functions, library functions. Okay, so this Solidity provides inbuilt mathematical functions as well. So these are few. Okay, so like we have a function like add mod. The add mod function will take three arguments like x, y, k. So like add mod, which adds two numbers x plus y and a remainder of k. Okay, so that is the meaning, so which returns unsigned integer. So add mod function will performs the addition of first two numbers, that is x plus y, and it finds the modulus of x plus y. Okay, modulus k, that is the meaning. Similarly, we have one more function like multiplication mod, that is mulmod. So here we are performing multiplication of first two numbers. Okay, so x into y and modulus of k, so which is also returns unsigned integer. Okay, so here is the Solidity contract in order to illustrate the library function, that is mathematical function supported by the Solidity programming. So here we have defined one contract, and we have a function called add mod. Okay, so after that we are trying to pass the values to that function. So this is the default function or built-in functions. We are trying to pass the values. Okay, so the result will be 4 plus 5 modulus 3, that is the meaning. Similarly, multiplication modulus 4 into 5 modulus 3, like that. Okay, then Solidity also supports for cryptographic functions. So here the Solidity is based on cryptography because we are going to deploy the smart contracts in the blockchain network. So it has to support the cryptographic functions also in order to provide the security. So some of the built-in cryptographic functions. So like we have KECCAK256, right? This is one of the hash function which returns bytes of 32, and also we have SHA-256 and RIPEMD-160. So these are the some hash functions, cryptographic built-in functions will be available in the Solidity programming. So here I have given so many Solidity programs that can be executed in the Remix IDE environment along with the MetaMask. So thanks for watching this video.